Hey guys, Power here again. Going to be doing a little video about huntresses, or hunters if you're using the male version. I'm going to go over the different traps they can summon in, as well as their different abilities. Now, the first little guy you get is the proximity trap. This is the bread and butter of the hunter class. What's nice about that is you drop it anytime a mob triggers it, it explodes for a high damage area of effect, killing multiple mobs at a time, hopefully. So that's very handy. Now, the next one, this guy here, this is the Inferno Trap. It is a long duration trap that deals area of effect damage in an area that does fire damage. Obviously, fire immune mobs will be immune to that. Luckily, the proximity one doesn't suffer from the fire immune problem. So you have that one there. Very cool. It burns for a long period of time. So even though it has lower charges, it will probably not run out. You really don't have to worry about it. And just so you guys know, the amount of charges you get are directly related to how much health you have in your tower stats. So actually it says right there. So, alright, the next one you have is this guy here, a gas trap. Now the gas trap's unique. It doesn't do any sort of damage. What's neat about it is it stuns mobs in an area of effect for a long period of time. It triggers the gas and they all get stuck there coughing for a long amount of time. So what's nice about that is if you couple the gas trap with a proximity mine and stagger them just a little bit, while they're stunned by the gas trap, the proximity mines will have multiple times to go off than killing the mobs. So a gas trap with a proximity makes proximity way more effective. Something to keep in mind there. Now, you could also use it with the Inferno. It'll stun them in the Inferno, so the Inferno's ticking. A combination of all three works pretty well as well, so something to keep in mind. Okay, this guy here, the Useless Trap, aka the Darkness Trap. Now, I really haven't found much of a use for this one. The tooltip for it, I'll show you here. When this trap is triggered, a cloud of darkness makes enemies lose their current target. Well, what good is that really? I mean, unless you're out, and you need them to attack someone else, I don't really see the usefulness of that. If it made them disoriented for a little while, maybe that could be useful, but no one I've ever seen use darkness traps. So, something to keep in mind. I don't bother with them. Okay, the other one, I call this the Ogre Killer, the Ethereal Spike Trap. Now, this guy here is a single target, high damage trap. I normally put those as far back as I can. That way, the only stuff that gets to them is the ogres. So, a lot of times on maps, you'll have multiple waves coming in. By the time they get to this, it's only going to be an ogre. The only thing that has enough health to get to it. So I normally put a couple of those and they do a fairly high amount of damage. This guy here is doing almost 34,000 damage with my stats. But it's definitely a very, very handy trap, but only use it on maps with ogres. And really, the only way you'd really use that is if you were soloing. If you have other guys that can put up walls, then you can get up the wall, beat on the wall a couple times while it's sitting in the proximity trap and whatnot, and that'll take it out as well. So, different tactics depending on how many characters you have. Alright, now we'll go over the abilities of the Huntress. The Huntress has two abilities. One is invisibility. Invisibility does what it says. It makes you invisible. You'll turn black, and all mobs, with the exception of ninjas and just ninjas, I think, are the only ones that can see you while you're invisible. Or excuse me, not ninjas, dark elf warriors. The guys that run really fast, jump over defenses, have dual blades, I call them ninjas. Anyway, um, they can still see you, but it works pretty well. Say if you need to repair or heal or drop another trap, you won't have to worry about mobs attacking you. So something to keep that in mind. The other one is piercing shot. And depending on if you're playing the male or the female version, you have two different versions of it. The male shoots out a combination of 3 flying birds, which is the animation for the piercing shot. So it splits the damage out to 3. I believe it shoots them out in about 20-degree radius for each one, where the female just shoots 1 for full power. So you have the two different options. You have the faster speed of the female with a single high damage one, or you can have the higher health of the male with a tri-shot for lower damage per hit. So depends on what you're looking for. Now the male version also has an invisibility ability as well, but the difference is it'll also cloak anything around you. So it can cloak defenses, other guys, things like that. So those are the two differences between the male and the female. Also seems that the male is a little bit higher damage multiplier, so it'll do a little bit more damage than the female. But for a trap huntress, I prefer the female. They just move around quicker. So yeah, works to my advantage. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The huntress is a fun class, but definitely not one I would suggest for your first character. The reason for that is they can't make any walls, and when you're first starting out, um, you really only have a proximity trap. Once you get up to about 8 or so, 7 or 8, you'll get the gas trap, and then you can use the combination. But still, again, you run into immunities, and when your stats are low, they don't reset very quickly, so you'll still get mobs running right through. So there would be a character I would level after you've leveled some other characters first, like an apprentice or a squire. But they can be a lot of fun, and they are one of the most popular DPS classes as well. So you can get some really cool weapons, and a lot of people like them because they do a lot of damage. You can stay back out of the fray and still kill things pretty easy. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and my other videos about the other classes too. Alright guys, have a good one.